What is going on, guys? This is Michael Williams from Cartoon Universe, and today I am joined with Haley,
Hey everyone.
and we want to discuss a little bit about the upcoming episode, Three Gems and a Baby, and what we expect from the episode. Now, do we have an air date? Is this December 1st, I believe?
Yes, this year.
So awesome. So we actually do get another episode after Gem Harvest, which is great news because a lot of us did not think we were going to get another episode. So if you don't know about this episode, like I said, it's called Three Gems and a Baby. It is going to be a flashback episode. And I don't think we know how long it's going to be. Is it going to be a regular 11 minutes or is it going to be 30 minutes?
I'm pretty sure it's 11 minutes.
Yeah.
I think we would know if it was 22 minutes because it'd be really weird to have two back-to-back 22-minute episodes. That'd be quite amazing, actually, but I don't think that's happening.
Yeah. So yeah, it's probably going to be a standard episode, but it is a flashback, and it is a winter special. And apparently it has to do with, as the title states, Three Gems and a Baby. So I'm assuming Pearl, Garnet, and Amethyst dealing with baby Steven. So we want to kind of talk about our predictions for this episode. So what are your initial thoughts, Haley?
So what's interesting about the title versus the actual official synopsis is that the synopsis says that Greg tells Steven about their first winter together. So it's going to be about him and Steven, but then the title's like Three Gems and a Baby. So it's also going to have the gems, pretty obviously. But just how much their involvement will be with him at this point in his life, I'm not sure because he's only a few months old at his first winter. Because he was, looks like he was born in August. And so the winter might be like December or, January or something around that time. So he'll only be a few months old. So at this point, Greg might pretty much like be with him 24/7.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure. This is actually something I never really thought about, but like, were Greg and Steven just living in the van together for the first few years of his life?
I guess so. That would make sense. I mean, Steven isn't very, he wasn't big at that point. Or also, he had the car wash, I think.
Right.
So he could also, Steven maybe slept in there. I don't know.
I guess. Why not?
Yeah.
Because we know they didn't start actually building the house until he was, we don't actually know how old he was, but he was a little kid. But what's interesting is that there was a song revealed at New York Comic Con by Rebecca Sugar and sung by Tom Sharpling, who voices Greg, and it's called Ready for This, and it's basically explaining how they can't be ready, and they don't say what they can't be ready for. Now we don't know who Rebecca Sugar was playing. It was kind of sung as a duet, so we know Tom Sharpling's obviously Greg, so we don't know who Rebecca is. The lyrics were, I can never be ready, everything has a start, everything has an end, sounds good in theory, but I can never be ready. So it sounds like they're kind of talking about raising Steven / not being able to see Rose anymore. Which leads me to believe that this is Greg and Pearl, and it's sort of a duet between them, which is actually kind of nice to see them, bonding and having that connection there. But this leads to the question: are we going to see Rose kind of get rid of her physical form to make way for Steven, or is the song just before that? Is it right after? We don't know, because we know Steven was obviously born in August, but it is a winter special, so I do believe that at the beginning of this episode, it's going to start with, around the time Steven was born. But I'm not so sure we're going to see Steven actually being born. That would be super, super emotional. And it'd actually be really cool to see everyone's reaction. So what do you think about that?
So what I was thinking, I saw some people suggest, was that first it would flash back to right before Steven was born, and they got like maybe Pearl and Greg, or perhaps Rose and Greg saying ready for this. And then pretty soon after that, it flashes forward to a few months after, during the winter.
Yeah, that would make sense. I feel like that's probably the case. I don't see that song being during Steven's infancy, I guess, in the winter. I feel like that'd be a weird time to do it. Now, I'm curious as to why it's titled, like you said, Three Gems and a Baby. This could be a misdirection. It could be kind of about Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl dealing with Greg, maybe, since we know Greg took a while to kind of grow up, and he kind of got it by the end of Greg the Babysitter. But I'm just curious if they're just kind of trying to throw us off. But even then, it doesn't really make sense that they would call it 3 gems and a baby. Maybe Pearl doesn't want to be a part of it, because I could see Pearl having some resentment towards Steven and the whole situation at first. So maybe Pearl's a little bitter and she just kind of runs off and does her own thing. So maybe the 3 gems are actually Amethyst, Garnet, and Steven, and the baby is Greg, potentially.
I never thought about that until now. That is, I mean, that's, if that's the truth, like, that's actually, it's about, like, that part, I would be amazed, because, like, when the episode where, you know, Greg takes care of sour cream, when he's a baby, doesn't he, like, say, oh, I'm a baby at, like, the end of it, because he realizes how immature he is, or, like, how not ready he is for, like, or to be an adult, even though he, you know, technically is.
Yeah.
So this episode could just be about him maturing as well.
Yeah, I could definitely see that kind of being an arc of sorts, like, because he kind of had the realization in Greg the Babysitter, so they might not go that route again, but I could kind of foresee them, like, hinting towards that and having the struggle with Greg, and then at the end, you know, maybe it's just Greg and Steven, and he finally kind of, you know, owns this whole father thing and really rocks it, and becomes the great dad that he ends up becoming.
Yeah, definitely. I think that would be... Oh, so actually I want to discuss, what do you think, how do you think each gem will react, saying that at this time period, saying it's Steven's first winter, how do you think Pearl, Garnet, and Amethyst will react to Steven at this state so soon after losing Rose, their leader?
Assuming that we don't actually see Steven being born, like I said, I think Pearl's going to be kind of bitter about the whole thing. I feel like she's going to take a while to warm up to Steven. I think that's another arc that might happen, is Pearl kind of starts off kind of cold, harsh, and then, you know, kind of warms up to Steven, and loves him like she does now. Amethyst, I feel like that's so hard because they care so much about Rose, but like in their personality, like I could see Amethyst being kind of excited, you know, because we've seen her as like the big sister of the group, so I feel like she would kind of be all on board for having a little human gem hybrid around. Garnet, I feel like Garnet might be slightly conflicted. Granted, it is a few months afterwards, but I think Garnet will probably be the one to be the real adult figure, I guess, at first, and kind of take charge and be there for Steven. I'm assuming that, like, the little silly face she did when Steven reformed into a baby in Steven's birthday, I'm assuming she did stuff like that a lot.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, the one that I want to focus on, of course, at this time is Pearl, who, like, you know, she, at one point or another, something happens, or if she wasn't always very happy about, you know, him being born, what happened to make it so that she wanted to protect him so much?
Right.
You know, because, like, we see her even sing about this in, like, Mr. Greg, that, you know, she feels like she has to kind of, you know, protect him from, I don't, like, you know, just from, I guess, the world and stuff. So what changed? Do you think she was, so you don't think she was always like that? You think at one point she was kind of resentful of everything that was happening, and of course, Matt are blaming Greg for all of this?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm not sure what would have set it off exactly. It's a winter special, so I feel like it has something to do with winter. Maybe they're, I don't know, because it doesn't, I was going to say maybe they're snowed in, but that doesn't make sense for gems at all. So I actually have no idea what would spring that on, to be honest. Yeah, I have maybe something happens, like maybe Garnet and Amethyst leave for some mission or something, and it's just Pearl and Greg. But where are they? That's another, I guess they're in the temple, maybe.
Right.
But the temple doesn't have any doors or heat or anything, so it's going to be cold. So that leaves another question: where is this even going to take place? Because there's no house yet. It's not going to. I don't think they're all going to be in the van. But although that would be really entertaining.
Yes.
That's actually another question: where would this even take place? But I think something's going to happen where Steven is, like, in danger for some reason. I don't know why that would be, and then maybe Greg and Pearl kind of work together. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't think they're going to play the Greg is irresponsible and almost killed his baby route.
Oh, man.
Because Greg's not that type of person, even back then. So I don't. Although, granted, he almost killed Sour Cream, but he was also entrusting Rose, who just didn't understand. So that's kind of a different thing, sort of. I don't think if he was supposed to watch Steven, that he would neglect Steven. But I could be wrong. But I don't think they're going to play that card.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I have no idea. Do you have any ideas for what may have sparked Pearl's interest?
I was just thinking, just seeing how amazing Steven is, and just him being there. Maybe she was resentful before, but then actually seeing Steven kind of changed her mind. It's like, oh, I gotta protect him now. But probably something else has to happen. I agree with you there.
Yeah, that's what I think. I don't think this episode will have anything to do with the overall story, but this will be really good backstory for pretty much all the characters, actually. So I'm really excited. I'm really glad we got another episode before the end of the year. Do you have any closing thoughts?
No, besides that, I'm just super excited, just like you. I love flashback episodes because we always learn so much more about the characters. Like you said, it's not going to relate to the plot directly. Besides potentially learning about how Rose, turned into Steven or whatnot. But I mean, that's not directly related to, the ongoing plot of Homeworld and stuff. But it's kind of different. So, but I'm still super excited for this because flashback episode just always amazing.
Yep, definitely. But that pretty much covers it for this video. These are our predictions on the new episode 3 Gems and a Baby, which will air December 1st. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know if you have any other predictions down below in the comment section. As always, thank you so much to our amazing patrons. Thank you for your support. If you want some dope rewards, check out our Patreon in the description below or at the end of the video. And be sure to follow us on Twitter while you're at it. But anyways, I've been Michael Williams, joined with Haley.
Bye, guys.
And we'll see you in the next video.